everyone and welcome to my Spider-Noir trailer breakdown. I was going to originally post a reaction video to the Spider-Noir trailer, but unfortunately it got copyright struck. So instead what I'm going to be doing is taking you through the trailer, showing you some very interesting screenshots from it, and giving you a few of my observations that were in that video but unfortunately couldn't be uploaded. So let's get started with the most interesting thing about this trailer, and that is Spider-Noir's name. And I'm not talking about the superhero name of Spider-Noir, I am talking about the fact that this character is going by the name Ben Reilly in his private detective's business. If you don't know who Ben Reilly is, he is essentially a clone of Peter Parker dating back to the 70s during the Clone Saga. He is identical to Peter in every single way, including his powers, and is actually a superhero and occasionally a slight bad guy in his own right. Which then begs the question, is this actually going to be Ben Reilly, the Peter Parker clone, or is this going to be a Peter Parker in hiding and using the name Ben Reilly so he can operate without being detected? Before I talk about the villains of the show, I want to talk about this tagline first, which is, with no power comes no responsibility, which is obviously a play on the usual phrase, which is, with great power comes great responsibility. And this is actually the antithesis of that usual quote, which really intrigues me, because obviously Spider-Noir and Spider-Man in general usually has a big responsibility of protecting the neighbourhood. They're their friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man for a reason. So I'm starting to think that this is actually going to be a more significant thing for this version of Spider-Man. Now, I don't think this means we're going to be seeing a slightly more morally grey version of Spider-Man or anything else, but I do think we're going to be seeing a slightly sillier version of Spider-Man, or at least Peter Parker, Ben Reilly, whoever you want to call them. Just because throughout this trailer we see him be a little bit more silly and a little bit more sort of funny in places throughout here, especially when he's talking about getting into a fight in a bar and things like this. It's coming across as very silly and slightly sort of heightened and Bugs Bunny in a way. And actually saying that, Nicolas Cage did say that his performance in here was 70% inspired by Humphrey Bogart and 30% by Bugs Bunny, and I definitely think this is where the no responsibility bit is going to come into this, in the sense that we're getting a sillier and slightly more ridiculous take on Spider-Man in a way. And I am really hoping I'm right on this and we are seeing a sillier side to Peter Parker or Ben Reilly, whichever one it happens to be, just because I feel like that morally grey take wouldn't really fit with the rest of the tone of this, and I do think it would work really well with this character to be slightly sillier and to have not no responsibility but less responsibility, and to just really sort of embrace that silliness like Nicolas Cage usually does. In terms of the villains, we see 4 in this trailer. The first one we see is Sandman, another one we see is Magma, we also see Electro in here, and then we have this 4th one, which admittedly I cannot place right now. And I'm really glad they're using these ones specifically and not like Green Goblin and Doc Ock again, because those characters have been used to death recently in a lot of adaptations, and I think it's a really good idea to actually put the spotlight on other classic Spider-Man villains that we haven't seen as much of in recent years. So I'm really glad it's these characters, though I will say I'm very intrigued by this one, because like I said, I can't place them, and I'm very intrigued to see who that's going to be. Then if we also talk about the shots in this trailer, first of all, I love how they've really shot this so it really shines in black and white, because it looks so good, and like those classic movies that were shot in black and white. And yes, I know there is also going to be a colour version, but I do definitely think this show is going to shine in black and white, maybe potentially more than it will in colour, because it definitely looks like it was shot to really be in black and white and to be viewed in black and white to really fit that noir theme. So I'm really excited about this. Every single shot you see in here is absolutely gorgeous. I especially love this one where we see Noir on top of the building with the lightning behind him. I am loving that look. I am loving this entire thing. It just looks gorgeous. I think that's going to really sort of set this show apart from all of the other Spider adaptations, and also to really set it apart in the superhero world in general. And I'm really glad that they took the risk with this, because I think it's going to really pay off. And then the final thing I want to mention about this trailer is how I'm really hoping it is going to connect to the larger Spider-Verse. Because obviously we see Spider-Noir in the original Into the Spider-Verse, he's played by Nicolas Cage there as well, and obviously the looks and the vibes and everything else are very similar in this TV show compared to the Into the Spider-Verse movie. Now this could just be because they are adapting the same character, so they're using the same vibes and everything else, but I do feel like it's a little bit significant about the fact that it's actually Nicolas Cage who voiced the character originally, now coming in to play the live action version, and I am really hoping that it's going to turn out that the version we are seeing in this TV show is the exact same one we follow in Into the Spider-Verse. And I'm really hoping that this is going to lead to more adaptations of the Spider-Verse characters, so we can finally see Penny Parker taking the spotlight, Spider-Gwen, Silk and characters like this, because they so deserve it and they kind of get forgotten in all of the adaptations in favour of Peter and Miles, which is not exactly a bad thing. They are popular characters and the most famous versions for a reason, but I would love to see more of the characters from across the Spider-Verse get that spotlight. But what also gives me hope on this is the fact that we've already seen Donald Glover do the same thing in the opposite way. He started out making an appearance in the original Spider-Man Homecoming movie and then cameoed in Across the Spider-Verse. So I'm just saying it could be possible that we're seeing the character from Across the Spider-Verse turn up in live action in his own TV show. Either way, I am so excited about this show. It looks like it's going to be a whole lot of fun and a really unique take on the Spider-Man character and the Spider-Man mythos. But what did you think of it? Tell me down in the comments what you thought of the trailer and what your hopes are for it. I would love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a spider emoji down below to let me know that you were here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos where I'm going to be talking more about the extended MCU as well as the comics, please click subscribe. And also don't forget to watch more of my reaction content and my review content by clicking on the playlist. But until next time everyone, bye!